Hey there, thanks for joining us today. My name is Rob Butler on the Go Get It podcast. For today's interview, we're joined by Lindsay Knowlton, the founder of Iron Lady Golf. Lindsay's going to talk about the evolution of the business that she's been able to create right out of university and how it's attracting both women in sport and the golf industry in particular. So why don't you stick around and join me on the Go Get It podcast.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Thanks for joining me. Like, what is going on?
Oh my gosh. I'm doing great. I think it's probably been over, hold on. If I did the math, well over a decade, probably a decade and a half to 2 decades. Yikes, 3, I don't know. Wild since I've seen you.
You look like I saw you yesterday, though. So that's always a comforting setting.
Thank you. Yeah, a few wrinkles later for sure, but everything is really good. As I mentioned to you, I was just putting my baby to bed. She's 14 months old.
Congrats. Awesome.
Little Penny. So life is good. And Iron Lady is rocking and rolling. And now it's into sort of its next stage of growth is how I would describe it. So
we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Your husband, do I know them, or your partner? Would I cross paths ever?
Solo.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, I had Penny on my own. So actually a really kind of fun story. So Penny, it took a long time to get there. And I sort of was laughing with one of my colleagues this morning because I said, here we are trying to help women say yes to hard things, be it a golf invitation. And one of the hardest things was really to decide to go for it with having a baby, of course, on my own and making that decision. But it was very timely because I got pregnant. And then the day before my dad died, I found out I was having a little girl and I got to tell him, which was really special. And growing up in all my golf tournaments, my dad would take a little lucky penny and he'd give it a kiss and he'd put it in my left pocket for every single tournament game I played in. And so I named her Penny.
Well, we can drop the mic. I think we're done here. That was the most amazing story ever. Wow.
Yeah. So she's a lucky little penny, and for all of us, and she's just been such a little bright light in my life and my mom's life, our whole family. So it's been a very, very hard but a very special time.
So cute. Good for you. Yeah. Congratulations. And I can only imagine trying to juggle everything that you have going work related and personally now. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's busy. Thank you.
So back up, and I'm going to say 25, 30 years ago, just for fun, what would be your first memory of either me or our family? Do you have any recollection of what that might look like?
There's so many little snapshot moments. I can't remember, what would you say was the first?
Probably the first, and I'm going to kind of connect some dots. One is, my brother in particular, my grandfather, they're keen golfers. So for that reason, I do remember your name being associated with maybe NCAA golf back in the day. And I'm not sure, we can talk a little bit about that. But then coming back to Collingwood, Ontario. And then in terms of your affiliation with the ski community, for sure. And through Brienne, I know the two of you were tightly connected and then marrying into the family through my sister and her brother. So we're connected to the Law family. So that's my recollection. And I'm even going to say Osler, but you might tell me it's Craig Leith.
No, you're right. It is Osler. And I was gonna peg Brienne as well. So those are the connectors and the connection with the NCAA. So I played golf for Ohio State University.
Well, that's a big school. That's cool.
Yeah, it was great.
So you're going to school, you're at Havergal, you graduate, you go directly to the States right away and kind of get into the swing of things, so to speak.
Yeah, totally. So, the recruiting process is really interesting for college. And so I got recruited. I was allowed, I think it's 5 official visits at different universities where they pay you and entertain you and take you around. And in the end, I realized the fit was going to be for me, both, the golf team, the coach, the business school, which is what I wanted to study. And through all of those little pieces that came together, Ohio State was the right the right place. They have 2 golf courses right on campus, a wonderful business school, great team, really good coach. And so that was where I went. Spent 4 years there. I was an All-American at Ohio State, which was a really
Wow.
big goal of mine and hard to do, but awesome last year. Pulled it off. And that was a really, really great experience. At the same time, I was playing golf on the Canadian national team. So my last 2 years of collegiate golf, and then the last year after I'd graduated, I was on the Canadian national team, which again was a huge honor to play in the World Championships. We won a silver medal. So really great amateur career. And when I was playing that last year of national team, I was carded by the government and I came home, and I have wonderful parents, of course, but they're sort of looking at me like, okay, it's time to get a real job. Like, golf has been great in your life, but
No, you
I
don't want to
know.
hear
What do you mean?
that.
What do you mean it's time to get a job? So I did, and my first job out of school was at Adidas. At the time,
Oh,
it was
right.
TaylorMade Adidas Golf. Wonderful place to work. So cool. Obviously, dreams. You know, you're an athlete, you're a business person, so working for a company like that was great. So I was the assistant product manager at Adidas Golf, which really kind of was a fancy term for like unpacking boxes and steaming shirts and getting into spreadsheets. So it was a rude awakening
Sure.
into the real world of business, but what a great spot to land, and couldn't think of a better place to be right out of school, and obviously with a tremendous group of people there as well. So that was really fun. And from Adidas, I went to Puma and worked on the sales side, so staying within sport and product side of things. Then I went to an agency, worked for Chris Lang, Lang Marketing for a little bit, which was great. And really what happened for me was when I came home from school, I would have so many of my friends and my colleagues and my mom's friends saying, I need to learn how to play golf. I am being left out of my corporate work tournament. I need to retire with my husband and have something in common with him, you know, when we start to move into retirement. I'm a new mom and I need to get my night back, and a me night that I
Nice.
can reserve in the calendar. And so, anyway, all of these requests kept coming in. And I remember thinking to myself, this is crazy. I read a statistic that 80% of women turn down an opportunity to play golf, not because they don't want to show up and go, but because they're just not comfortable showing up. It's hard to get started. It's wildly intimidating. There's so many rules. I mean, you play golf, I play golf. It's hard. And so it was kind of serendipitous. I was sitting in Starbucks. I was telling one of my best friends that I just, you know, wanted to help more women say yes to golf. I'd been hearing all these different conversations, not as a job, but just as a purpose.
Right.
And this guy was working away on his computer, and he's working away and he keeps looking over, and I'm thinking, this is sort of weird. This guy keeps looking over. Anyway, eventually he leans over and he says, I've been eavesdropping on this entire conversation. I'm so sorry, but I love it. You're on to something, and I want you to call me. Here's my card.
Come on.
Yes, this is how Iron Lady started. And so it turned out he was a senior VP at Manulife on
Yeah.
Bloor Street here in Toronto.
Sure.
And I really didn't know if I should call the guy. You know, what was this all about? But I thought, why not? Why wouldn't I call him? And he said, you know, listen, you're on to something amazing. Golf is an incredible medium, but the message is so much more. And I'd like if you would give a lunch and learn to all of my female employees on Bloor Street about leaning into fear and discomfort and saying yes. And I didn't even really know what to say to him. So he helped me craft this little presentation. I talked to them about it. Then all of a sudden, great, they want to learn how to play golf. And you have skied your whole life. You were a ski coach as well, right?
I did for a little while. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Different skill sets, playing a sport versus coaching a sport.
Sure.
Because you actually have to be able to, you know, peel back your onion layers of knowledge and remember what it's like to start at ground zero. So I ran that very first clinic, and I had hired the pro at the course to kind of help me do it. I talked about the rules and etiquette. And the very, very end of that clinic, this group of women say, that was great. Now what? And I remember thinking to myself, like, there is no now what? I don't know. Nothing exists. I better make this up.
Are you still at the other company as you're doing this as a hobby, or?
Yeah. This is just, you know, like a podcast, like a purpose, like just a fun thing
Right.
to do and absolutely not a job. And so I made it up. I was like, well, you know what? We run these 4-week clinics. And at the time, the name wasn't even Iron Lady. Like, I think it was some strange working name. But, after realizing that this was potentially going to be something, because there were so many, then now what? Okay, we run 4-week clinics. Now what? Now we're on course for 9 holes, and then it's a 1-day golf school, and then leagues started, and then trips started. And everything's literally just been a domino effect of listening and understanding what but might be next in their journey and what did people want, and then create it. And then eventually it just became this incredible community of women. And it's the best.
So if you're going to define Iron Lady on your own terms, how would you describe it to the
I would
audience?
describe Iron Lady Golf as a community. And probably in that one word, I would say it's a community. But if I were to expand a little bit, it's a community for women to learn, to play, and to connect with each other.
And I know your background in golf, but is it very much golf centric, or does it expand beyond that? Or do you see yourself doing something beyond the golf course?
It's like you're getting into my head of the future of Iron Lady. So I think one of the things that's really shone through is that golf, started as sort of the main medium, I'd say, for us. Like, golf is just a great vehicle to be able to connect with other people, and through all these programs, obviously help women build and connect with one another. But what we're realizing through a lot of this is that it's actually not about the golf in most cases. It could be skiing, it could be wine, it could be hiking, it could be anything of the above. So I'm really seeing a lot of Iron Lady leading the brand. And then, that little sub brand. Of course, we've started with golf, so that will always be sort of our firstborn child. But I think the plan is to sort of morph ourselves into other areas as well.
As well branded as the name is toward golf, it's actually really versatile. If you didn't know the golf connection, I don't know that it would matter what you apply it to. It has a really powerful kind of feel to it.
What's sort of interesting too is, like, a lot of the programs that we've birthed through Iron Lady Golf really were just a result of listening and understanding what might be next for the customer. And as we talk about Iron Lady as the lead brand, people are asking. I had someone the other day call me and say, we want to do a golf and tennis trip under Iron Lady. Would you do
Nice.
that? And I'm going, okay. We've run Iron Lady ski days. We've run Iron Lady wine trips. So it's just sort of listening and acting and jumping on it and saying, this is a cool opportunity. And obviously it's more than golf. It's really about that empowerment of women and connecting them together.
That's amazing. So are you out of Toronto then? Like, is there a home course? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I live in Toronto. The company is primarily out of Toronto. We run as kind of out of the GTA, but we do run quite a few programs in Collingwood as well. We don't have a home course. We have 25 home courses. So we run our programs out of many different locations. We've got about 20 coaches that help run our programs as well. We, even now with the rise of golf simulators through the winter time, it's really cool because for a while there, I was, opening the doors in May and closing them in September. And now we've got the chance to kind of stay open year round, which is great.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, I underestimated how realistic the simulators are, because I know that a number of people, including a number of my family members, they have their own at home now, and they swear by these things. And I'm newer to it, so I don't want to pretend I'm a competitive golfer, but I'm an enthusiast. We'll call it that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to see how much data. As a coach, I love teaching in the simulators because I get so many numbers that can help really transform how I would coach somebody through their swing and swing changes. And I also have seen it firsthand, the people that are coming and they're working through the winter, at least if they continue swinging through the winter, they're that much more ready for spring and summertime golf.
You mean me putting my clubs away in October and not seeing them again till June? No?
Couple
Not the best
cobwebs here
approach.
and there, it's a lot of hit and hope at that point.
Tell me about it. Okay. So fast forward to today. you look back over what you've been able to do over the last number of years. You've talked about some of the career progression coming out of school, parents saying, okay, now it's time to step it up. You need a real job, working on the agency side versus working in some of the retail type of roles. What are the three most important things that you now recommend to somebody, like I said, coming out of school, or maybe they're a third, halfway through their career and they're frustrated and they just want to switch things up? Or maybe they don't want to necessarily leave the company they're at, but they just want something to get their juices flowing again and get them excited. What are the three things that come to mind that you'd like to recommend to somebody?
Couple things for sure. I think the first is build what you wish existed. I think that was the first thing that I realized was there is a gap in how women were sort of playing golf, experiencing golf, wanting to experience golf. And I felt it firsthand. I was able to get beyond the confidence stage of it, but I knew that there was a real gap in the market for how women could experience golf. So that was, for me, was the first thing. The second thing is...
Can I go a bit deeper on that?
Oh,
first
totally.
one?
Yeah.
So you're looking at building something, you're enthusiastic, you're passionate about it. Are you doing it because you think it's going to be fun? Are you doing it because you need an income? Are you doing it because you just need, well, you talked about it, a hobby at first, but then it started to take shape. How is somebody supposed to know that, oh, okay, there's actually something here to the point where I can see myself creating a career out of it? Is it obvious or is it an evolution or what does that look like?
Well, that was going to be sort of rolling into my second point, but I don't think when you first start anything, unless you've got a blueprint of buying that Tim Hortons franchise, you know exactly what you're going to do, and they're telling you how to do it. There was certainly no blueprint for me and for Iron Lady, and I had no idea what it was going to be. Like I said, when I first started, it wasn't going to be a job. I did Iron Lady with a part-time job for probably 5 years. At the time, it didn't feel viable to me. And I also didn't feel like I had the risk tolerance to want to dive all in. I was terrified. And then I finally really decided to take the plunge because I thought if this doesn't work, I can always go back and I can always get a real, I air quote real, but a real job. And that was something for me that was very hard to make the leap, but it was funny because as soon as I did, things went right on the up. So that was really cool. So the second point that I was going to share, Rob, is that you kind of, no pun intended, have to take the first swing, even if it's messy, even if you have no idea what you're doing, you're not ready, you have to start somewhere. And a lot of things I've done have been wrong or not worked at all. And you just pivot. And then there's other things that I'm shocked that we've tried that did work that I didn't think were going to. And we just try to do more of those. So it would be very hard at the beginning to know for sure, even with the best business plan in place, if it was going to be, a shoo-in.
Have you found throughout the years that you've had some good role models or mentors or sounding boards that not necessarily, you talk about the one person in Manulife, not that they'd done what it is that you've gone on to do, but you can test ideas out on them and they'll give you an honest opinion and you may end up going in a different direction, but have you developed those types of people and contacts along the way?
Oh my gosh, yes. I don't even know how these amazing guardian angels have fallen into my orbit. And I really mean that. There have been so many men and women along the way that have been true champions and sounding boards for me. We don't have an official advisory board yet, but it's something that I'm working on building and crafting right now as we speak. But I can say confidently that without those people along the way that have helped me in so many different ways, whether it's hiring different people, partnerships, like you name it, finance, all the stuff that I have no clue what I'm doing. There has always been somebody that's shown up. It feels like right when we need it to help me out and help me through certain scenarios.
Do you find that as Iron Lady has taken shape, that you make fewer bad, I don't want to call them bad decisions, but decisions that you're less excited about, where you're in a really good rhythm now, you've tested a number of different variations of certain things out where the errors become fewer? Or is it not that at all? It's just a new day, test a concept out, who knows where it goes? Like, does that ever change?
I actually feel like the trial and
What should we
error
call
on
them?
certain
I got to
things.
come up with a better word. What
Yeah, I
um,
don't know, moguls,
concepts?
yeah, concepts. I actually feel like I'm having more right now and they're bigger. And I think that that's the nature of what we're doing is that I'm having to lean in a little bit harder, whether it's trying out hiring someone and maybe it works or it doesn't. Whereas back in the day, it was just me for a really, really long time. And I told the story last week. I was sitting on a panel and I couldn't afford to hire anyone else. But when you are the only person managing sales, marketing, tax, coaching, program development, it's hard. And part of that makes it really hard is when you're teaching someone and then you have to chase them for their money and get them to pay their bills, it gets a little bit awkward. I remember thinking to myself, if I just had someone that could sort of be the bad cop so that I can always stay good cop and be happy
Right.
when I'm there coaching someone. So my first employee's name was Debbie, and she was an imaginary friend. And
No, this is
she
true.
sure was Debbie. Debbie was amazing. Debbie at IronLadyGolf.com. She was my first hire and she was the bad cop. And she would go after people who didn't pay their bills so that Lindsay could go out and teach all the lessons and
Wow.
stay front facing. And yeah, so if you ever need Debbie, she's pretty awesome.
So
I'd
you
vouch for her.
had Debbie as an alter ego to work through the trickier discussions and receivables as you describe them. Wow, that's a
Yeah.
really interesting concept. Maybe I need to try it in my real.
Why
That's
not?
amazing.
Yeah. So
And the
so anyway,
price was
people
right.
people got a good laugh out of that one because it just, what else do you do? You're a young, new entrepreneur. So
Sure.
yeah.
Where did it come? Sorry, that idea though, in and of itself. Did you just wake up one morning and say, "This is, I guess, what I'm going to have to do"? Or you read a book that said, as a small business owner, you're going to need to create two versions of yourself? Like, where did it even appear?
I actually can't even honestly remember how it came to be, but it's quite funny because even in my own personal life, I'm like, firstborn. I play by the rules. And then I remember when I came out of university, there was like this really fun party weekend and I guess I didn't show up, but my alter ego Estelle showed up and she was way more fun. So she started getting invited to the parties and it was like leave Lindsay at home but bring Estelle. And so I don't know if that was sort of the birth of Debbie, who was going to be my business alter ego. Can't remember how she got going, but I can tell you honestly, it was helpful at the time because it was so hard being everything to everyone and chasing people down that didn't pay their bills. So
That is absolutely fascinating. I love that you
yeah,
shared it. Thanks for adding that to the mix. I'm going to be thinking
yeah,
about that forever. That's amazing.
yeah,
So you've got build something that you want to exist. Am I
yeah.
saying it right? Is that the way you think about it?
Yeah, build what you wish existed, I
Okay.
think. And I think the other thing that I would say probably is the third thing, but also fits into what you're building is you build something where people feel like they belong. And so I've always said that community is our superpower, but not only that, like community for us is the glue that makes golf stick. So a lot of people think that they're coming to learn golf, they want to learn golf. It's not sticky. Like there's only so many chipping lessons that you can take or driving lessons,
Right.
but really the glue that's making it stick is meeting these other people in the community, having the glass of wine after the game, sharing those experiences, going on these travel adventures together. And so I've always really stood behind, yes, of course, I can teach you how to chip, but like our superpower is community building. And that's really what I'm extremely passionate about.
you use the word community. How many people are in the community, or that you define as those that follow the Iron Lady culture, or how do you think about it?
So we've, I guess, a couple different ways over the course of time that we've existed. Iron Ladies existed. We've had about 30,000 women come through our programs,
Wow,
which is really
amazing.
neat. Yeah, and I guess you can look. There's community within our social media platform. There's community within our email list. So we've got kind of over 7,000 people on our email database. I don't know, 14,000 on our Instagram. But I would say, in terms of like transactionally every year, the number of Iron Ladies that are coming through is somewhere between 2 to 3,000 people that are participating in our programs, which is really, really neat. And we're on a mission to grow that and help bring Iron Lady to a bunch of new communities, both in Canada and then into the US as well. So our goal is to be the number one golf and sports lifestyle brand in North America.
I love it. It's a lofty goal. Something tells
Yep.
me you're going to get there. How many years do you think it takes to get to that level?
Oh my goodness. I got a little work to do on that one, but my goal my goal has been by the time I turn 50. So I won't tell you how many years away that is,
You don't
but
need to
it's
tell me that.
yeah.
Lots of time. Lots of
Yeah,
time.
so many years. So it's no, we do have some time, but I'm excited about that goal because I think there's a tremendous opportunity. We do see a lot of our, listen, even our website traffic and our subscribers, quite a few of them, good amount of them are from the US. So 30% of our website traffic is actually from the States. So we know that we need to be there and giving them more and producing more content and growing.
Yeah. So, of the interviews I've done to date, the biggest expansion, even though most of them are Toronto based initially, and a number of them are entrepreneurs, the US is where things change, not to say overnight. The lead up may take a little while, but once that clicks, just the audience for whatever it is that you're bringing to that market's so massive. It just changes the whole dynamic. And there's in your case, like such a sports element to the US, or at least in my head, there is. Like
Oh
when I
yeah.
think Canada, I think hockey, to be honest. When I think the States, I do think golf has got to be one of their bigger pastimes, just based on TV viewership. And I'm sure I'm going to see you on one of those channels really soon. So that'll be fun. You must
Thank
have some
you.
connections down there too, right? From university?
Yeah, definitely still know a lot of people in the States. And we've actually even had quite a few Americans come on our golf trips as well,
Nice.
our Iron Lady trips. So yeah, I just would love to start connecting more with the community, the golfing community down there.
Well, it's funny. So we do play golf out here. I thought was going to be either my kids that were going to be super enthusiastic, going out with their buddies. I thought I might be able to do it a little bit with work. It's actually my wife that goes out more than anybody between ladies' night, ladies' corporate night, uh, mother son golf days. Like it's unbelievable. She's just fallen in love with this game, and it's so much fun to watch. So
Oh, I
that
love
was,
that.
yeah, me too. It wasn't the reason we joined originally, but it's turned out to be the real draw for us. And then, so as we're talking about Iron Lady, anything going on out west? Calgary, Vancouver? Have we done anything out here recently?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've done actually several programs out there through some of our corporate partners. So a lot of the organizations that we work with actually want to scale their program nationally. So we've sort of plugged into the major markets and done it that way, and certainly hope to continue to expand some of our other programming that way as well.
Amazing. Well, you're going to hit
Yeah.
me up when you come out, or at least send me a note. I want to come see you in action and see what you guys are all about. So,
Yeah, I'd love that. That would be awesome.
okay. So to close it out, what is your most favorite golf course in Canada and in the US? What comes to mind?
Ooh,
You might have a couple, but if you could narrow it down to one or two, what would it be?
my goodness. In Canada. Okay, in Canada, I'm going to go with Cabot Links.
Nice.
Yep. Definitely. We go every year. We're going again this year in July. And I would say it is one of the most magical places on earth. It is, you feel like you're away at golf camp. I love taking groups out there. It's right on the ocean. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's a very special place. So I'd say that's my number one in Canada. In the US, oh, I thought we were going to go bigger than that in terms of choice. But in the US, I just came back from Pinehurst,
Oh, yeah.
which was, I know the obvious would be the West Coast, which are obviously pretty fabulous. But Pinehurst is kind of top of mind because we just did a trip there this March, and it was unbelievable. So they've got 10 courses to choose from. It was a really special trip for me. The last time I was there was 25 years ago, and I won the North and South, which is like the big amateur event there.
Amazing.
And so I got to go back and see my name on the wall in their big sort of like museum wall of fame or hall of fame. So that was extra special. And to be able to take, the Iron Ladies back there after all of these years was really, really neat. So I'd have to say, Pinehurst, because it was a really recent special memory for me.
It's a good answer. It's a spectacular facility. I've not been there in a number of years. And is it number 2? Is that the right course? Okay.
Number 2 is the big famous one where they hold a lot of the US Open events. And it is so hard. And every green is built like an upside down bowl. So
perfect.
The number one tip, exactly. Number one tip, just aim at the middle of the green. That's all you ever want to do there.
I try to aim at the middle of everything. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I didn't say I end up there, but that's my goal.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's a great spot, and it was very easy to travel to from Toronto, and it's beautiful. Walked to all the restaurants, like it was great.
Amazing. So, anything else you want to share with the audience before I let you off the hook?
Oh my gosh, no, it was a pleasure and an honor to speak with you. Thank you for reaching out.
I hope you enjoyed it. You taught me a lot, and I can't wait to show you the finished version.
Thank you so much. That was lots of fun.
Awesome. Okay, well, have a great night, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Bye.
Let's go!
Hey, this is Rob Butler on the Go Get It podcast. Thanks very much for joining us today. We appreciate you listening to what it is we can bring to your career evolution. And if you liked our guest, feel free to 1, follow us, and 2, put a question in the reel, and hopefully our interviewee can respond to that question directly. With that, I'd like to encourage you to join us on next week's edition on the Go Get It podcast. Thanks again.